Welcome back, everyone. I'm Zell, and today we are going to take apart the WE Knife Company Double Helix. I know a lot of you out there are wondering, how in the heck does this thing work? Well, I understand how it works, but I don't know exactly how they got it all together, so we're going to find out and hopefully be able to put it back together. If we can't, well, we got problems. So where are we going to start? Well, that's a very good question on this knife. Because we don't have, it's not a standard WE knife, so, well, it looks like we're going to need to take these off. These are little tips, and I wanted to show you these anyhow, but they are wider than that overlay scale, so they're going to have to come off. So here's what we did. And I'm not going to be able to, in fact, there's no way to get that out. This is a specifically machined piece. I thought it was a screw down inside there, but it's not. It is a piece machined to soften that area for your fingers. Nice touch for WE Knife Company to do that, because that was one of the things we talked about at, oh, this is a problem. We'll have to get one side of it apart and see where that's going. So, thankfully, this side come apart. Let's get the pivot loose from there and get the pocket clip off, because it looks to me like we're going to have to take it off. Set those pocket clip screws aside, because they're going to be different in size than some of the other stuff. And we actually did use a fair amount of what looks to be maybe purple Loctite. That's what we're going to put it back together with on this particular knife. That's interesting. All right, so let's take the spring off of this side. Also going to set those spring screws aside with spring, because they are a different length. Okay. Alright, so this went under this. A little more complicated knife taken apart today, guys. Not that it's actually a complicated design, I just don't want to get anything in the wrong place. That did not go under that, that goes under the spring. So, set this and the spring aside. We'll get a look at that spring. And it's just a piece of, I don't know if this is laser cut. It appears to be, it's almost got to be laser cut down here. Maybe thin wire EDM'd, but wow. Very nice, very, well, springy. Check that out. Springy. Okay. So we got that apart. And do we need to take, I don't think we need to take that slab off there, but we need to get some pressure. Where's our, those look to be pins. So our last holding it together is right here. Aha. So, little standoff down there has got little pieces that go into the titanium. That's very nice for keeping things in line. Now we'll take the pressure off the pivot and see if we can slide the pivot out. That's not going to work. That's surprising. Huh. So, where do we go from here? What is holding us together? Nothing. Just me not being... Okay. So, there we go. There's our slide. It's hardened steel slide that these little pieces are, that these fancy little pieces are going into. And there's our blade. And there you can see the stop on this side and the stop on open side. So like I said in the review, the closed side could be softened to be a detent so that it doesn't hold the knife closed. There's your stop pin for closed, to where it would provide a detent. There we go, back open. There is your open stop pin. So it is a 2 stop pin system. I'll do that again better in the camera. There's your open stop pin right here. Go like this. There's your closed stop pin. Makes more sense why they went with the 4mm blade stock to give this something nice and solid through here, to because of the stop being so deep into the knife blade. But that's it. That's as complicated as it gets, guys. And really, that is, I know I work with WE regularly on several different levels, but whenever they come out with something like this, we'll pull the blade out of there so you can see that, there the pivot will come out now. Something to, in fact, that's going to be a pain, but I'm going to go ahead and push the pivot out because there's something I want to show you guys on these WE pivots. It's pretty important. See that little step right there on the WE pivot? If you look down in that little hole, there's a little step right there, right in there. So whenever you go to put this pivot in, you want to make sure that that little step is lined up with the other little step. Now the secret here is the WE logo is going to go flush. And it's also going to be in line this way, where the stripes are always toward the body of the knife. See, there's a chimera or chimera. The stripes are towards the body of the knife. Almost always happens. I don't think I've seen one where it doesn't. There's a Ferox, same thing. So there you go on how the pivot goes in. Be sure to note that if you take apart a WE knife. I have fixed several WE knives that didn't really need to be fixed because people sent them in and didn't know about that little issue right there. And I need to find some nano oil. And all we need for this one is 10 weight, because we're just going to put a little on the bearing. Because strangely, it was a little bit, had a little oil on it. A little drier than what I would have liked, but seems to be a trend with all the knife makers right now. I don't know if oil's got expensive or what the deal is. But there we go. Knife's back in its hole. And put our and people have fussed at me about putting oil on one side of the bearing, not on the other side of the bearing. Okay, well, here's the deal, guys. They're little rollers. You get oil on one side or the other of them, and little rollers take the oil to the other side. It's just the way bearings work. So put this back down on here, and we got to get these 2 stop pins lined up and this little pin right here, which may be a bit of a pain. I'll go back down to, I think I've got a really small T something or another here that we can get in there. Yeah, there we go. Because we need to get that pivot lined up too. And the pivot is not wanting to play very well. Okay, so I can't do that yet. Also need to stick this guy back in here. Probably should have done that before I put the side back on. But we can achieve this. There we go. Are we all there? Not sure. That's down there. That pivot just does not look like it's where I want it to be, but our distance is there good. We're going to try it. So we're going to go ahead and put the pivot back together, and from there we can kind of see what's going on. I'm going to put it back together dry first. We'll put some purple Loctite on it in a minute. And guys, there is a reason I'm going with Loctite with this knife and not the normal stuff. One, there isn't as much vibration in this knife, and I want something in this knife that actually locks it down instead of the Vibratite, which absorbs vibration very well but doesn't lock near as well. Okay, well, we're good. I didn't think that pivot looked quite right, but we're good. Okay, so now we have this piece. Where'd my little... Great. There it is. Need to lay this in here, and this is probably going to be your biggest deal. What I'm going to do, or attempt to do, is line this up and get this started, and then we'll line the rear part of the spring up, because I think that's going to be the most complicated part of putting this knife together. Whenever I get that right, yep. So lay this little bushing under the spring, and now we are going to get our purple Loctite out, because if those screws go down in there, I want them to stay. There's one started, and I'm not going to start the other one until I've got, or tighten it down until I've got the other one started down in there. This purple Loctite is pretty freaking thin. I wish I could get gel in the purple. If anybody knows where to get purple gel Loctite, I would appreciate it, because that is a freaking mess I'm going to have to clean up. Squishing out everywhere. I think that'll be all right. Get a little bit of alcohol or acetone and clean it up here in a minute. Okay, so we got those two. Need to put this screw back in back here. A little bit purple Loctite on that one, because we had to take that one out to get that standoff out. There we go. That worked out better. I didn't get near as much of the purple Loctite everywhere. And then we got this little deal with the little standoffs. Oh boy. All right. It should lay down on there pretty easy. And I got really lucky, and it laid down right in place. Don't expect that to happen at home, friends. And I didn't expect to happen on camera. I expected all kinds of hell with that. Okay. Well, we're centered up. were opened up with no blade play. And there you go. That is how to disassemble and maintain the wee double helix, or what's inside the wee double helix. And cool little knife, guys. A lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. I really thought there was going to be a little more in there with the double thick on the titanium slabs here, but I was wrong. It's a lot simpler than what it looks like. Anyhow, you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on the Apex News just about every week right here on the Zelrick YouTube channel, and I will see you next time.